Right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Tell Your Truth Own Your Identity series. Today, we'll be speaking with Victoria Goodlow. She's going to tell us a little bit about her identity, as well as what she does. But without further ado, this is Victoria.
Hello, everybody. My name's Victoria Goodlow. I'm from Texas. Can't hear it in my voice. People always love my twang, whatever y'all want to call it.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm from Dallas. I am an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. I have a consulting business where I help small businesses and nonprofits pretty much develop their business and their brand, do content creation, and social media management and things for them. And I'm also a confidence coach. So I mainly work in a corporate setting as far as provide professional and confidence coaching for corporation staff, mainly women who are really passionate about, and youth, because I also mentor girls with my Rose Foundation. So yes, definitely all over the place, outside of doing my nonprofit work, as my 9 to 5, so they call it, and then do my side hustle in the evening.
You gotta have a balance, right?
Yes.
So tell us exactly who Victoria is. Who are you? Who do you feel like what your identity is?
Victoria is definitely it's definitely like, she likes to turn up, have a good time, very like risk taker, loves to have fun. And I'll say Victoria, definitely has insecurities that she works through, healing through, like, emotional trauma.
Yeah.
Just put her best foot forward, every day, and become spiritually aligned, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good. You always gotta know how to turn up and have fun.
Yes.
What do you feel like, was there any experiences in your life that kind of shaped who you are today, to be so confident and vibrant as you are?
I believe definitely like my relationship with God, like kind of shifting my perspective on how he sees me, because how he talks about us is like totally different
Yeah.
how we talk about us, and it's like, okay, God, really, you're more precious than rubies, like you're my my child, I call you friend, like all these things, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that is like so dope. It's okay. So just kind of going through that process of kind of learning about myself for me. Like, I think at each stage as I grew up, I always tried to like fit in, being with the in crowd. I
Mhm.
always I'm a people pleaser, and that's something I
Yeah.
still, work through. And so it's like trying to kind of find that balance of, still having genuine relationships, but not losing myself in the process. So
Yeah.
kind of had to, once I realized that, I like the past, I want to say maybe year or two, I've been kind of just relearning Victoria. Who is Victoria after? Because once you go through each trial, it's like a new version of yourself. So you kind of have to like
Absolutely.
relearn yourself after each situation you go through. And so it's a evolving process, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is, how I came to that so far.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I'm a little bit of people pleaser too, but it's like you said, going through those challenges
Yeah.
and stuff, you really have to learn, like, okay, am I gonna try to please everyone else, or I'm gonna try to, do what serves me? Come on with the wine.
Yeah, I was like, let me
Wow.
have a little cocktail.
Love it, love it. Uh, so tell us a little bit about how you grew up, and how kind of like your confidence and the trials that you went through kind of built into who you are today.
With how I grew up, I always say that my family are not very emotional people.
Hmm.
I have both parents in my life. I'm grateful for that. But
Yeah,
sometimes there's like, they only know what they know, and that's what they bring into, the environment and how they raise you and stuff like
yeah,
that. And so I kind of had to learn not to put the blame on them for things that I had to learn on my own and had to kind of grow up
yeah.
on my own, in a sense. We had those grandmothers who made it, make sure to keep everything, centered and stuff like that. But, all that can only do so much when you kind of like when the voids, when you have certain voids as far as like emotional voids, it's like, or if it's emotional voids or a physical or whatever void you have, you tend to look for that in other places. And
Yeah.
that's what I was doing, you know. So growing up, like the type of guys I will be with, definitely like with the type of friends I would have, like street people. Like I mean, like, I don't even know how that works.
Yeah.
Because I'm nowhere near like hood. I don't consider, even though I am from the hood, like I'm definitely not all up in that. But
Yeah.
yeah, just kind of trying to find my place because probably subconsciously I wasn't getting that at home, you know. And so love my parents, they're great, but you know, definitely like it's just those voids that I was trying to fill elsewhere. And you know, that, you know, led me to being promiscuous at a young age because I'm like, okay, what is love? It's like, 'cause my daddy's a provider, like that's he gave, he made sure, and that's what I feel like, okay, I have to give. What is that something? I
Yeah.
mean, the teenager is my body. I don't have money. What you want? And so,
What else can I do?
you know, that's what I can give you. And so, yeah, growing up, that was pretty much how it was for me. And of course, I've started to learn that now as I got older. Like, why do I keep, you know, going back to the same thing, the same people, situations, and you know, it becomes a cycle when you don't address it.
Definitely. I love how you mentioned cycle because usually if you don't realize it's going to keip happening over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
When did you
Yeah.
realize like, okay, what I'm doing is not kind of working out. I need to like kind of break this cycle.
Ugh, it's always some man, a little boy, not a man. Definitely that I had a situation maybe like a year ago. It happened kind of back to back, like with these dudes, like the situation is really relationships. But I felt like
Yeah.
I knew I was putting too much into it and not getting it in return. And I realized, you know, of course, dudes like not looking at the red flags in the situation because I want to be like accepted and loved so much and cared for so much. It's like you kind of overlook the negative just cause, and you always focus on the potential of things. Like you don't see the reality of it. Like, no, this dude is like a jerk. He's like playing you, but you see the potential. Like you see the good in him. You know, blame it on the cancer in me. I don't know, but I'm just like, he can get there. And I noticed that cycle like with him. Was it 2020? So that's like 2018, and then it happened again last year in 2019. And I was like, okay, some has to give. Like I ended up starting counseling, going to therapy, which is starting to be like a big topic now with, you
Yeah.
know, our community, which I love. You know, because you know, I'm transparent in a sense where if you ask me, I'll tell you whatever. But you know, I'm pretty private like about those kind of things. But it's like I know it's needed. I know people that like have to know, like, hey, you can love Jesus and go to
Go
therapy.
therapy. Yep.
Like the church can't heal everything, you know,
True.
like they can't. And so I think going to counseling has really opened my eyes to like what I have been exposed to and how I've handled things. And you know, just kind of and things that I kind of with my mindset, what I held on to,
Hmm.
which I'm trying to like unlearn at the moment.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, especially mental health, especially with everything going on with like quarantine. Everybody's at home, sitting at home with
Yes.
themselves. Like it's almost like we're forced to really deal with whatever trauma or mental health or issues that we have been experiencing. Um,
Exactly.
going to therapy,
Yeah.
was there a lot of things that were coming up that you didn't want to address that you had to address?
Oh, like every week, like like when I see my therapist, I do not want to be here. I say the same thing every time I go to, but when I'm done with the session, I feel better and lighter.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of things, of course, like the people pleasing came in, and we actually did a lot of work as far as like my childhood,
Mhm.
because you know they say like probably up to the age of maybe 8 to 12 is like when you start to set in like how your mind works, like your
Oh,
subconscious thoughts, all those things you kind of hold on to, and boom, that's what it is. That's what
yeah.
influenced you as you get older and the things that you do. And so it was the parts were kind of like going back to my childhood and try to dig up situations because like she would ask me specifically, okay, so what are some things that your dad did for you growing up? Like, why do you feel like you were overlooked? Because that's something that comes up a lot, is like me being overlooked. And so it's kind of like I have to really dig deep and like, okay, what are the like, because you say you feel like that, but it's like, can you pinpoint it? So
Yeah.
that was kind of like the thing, really using my words because I never really had to, or not had to, or had the chance to. Because just growing up in that kind of way, like, like what I say does not really matter,
Mm,
and it's like you don't really say much because it's like, oh, they're gonna like blow me off
yeah.
anyway. So yeah.
No, I feel that, especially in the Black community. I think kids are like, okay, y'all don't have a voice, you don't say nothing. Like parents, what they say goes. Was there
Hmm.
a couple of things that you feel like, because I know you were saying there was some things that you probably had to unlearn from your childhood that your parents taught you or that you experienced? Was there a lot of things that you kind of had to like shift your mind about that you had learned?
Yes. Thing for me is like poverty mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Like growing up, in the hood, like around, you just used to like pretty much the dope boys, like, hood rich type stuff. So it's like,
Yeah.
like the rims and, the Impalas, like you got the, hook up the candy paint, all
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
stuff. Crown Vics and stuff like that. And so it's like you look at that and you kind of see that lifestyle, and that's what, all that it's like, okay, all I need is just a little bit of money, doing this, stuff like that, and be straight, just give me a little apartment, and I'll be fine. It's
Right.
it's a limit out here because it's like, once you reach a particular point, you got to get stuck there.
Yeah.
And if there's no one that comes along to really show you anything different, you're gonna still, kind of be in this environment, have this type of mentality. And so I kind of had to learn, now that I've been exposed to things, and like, with the internet, we grew up kind of when the
Yeah.
internet was coming along, like social media, and you're looking at these lives on everyone's lives on TV, and it's like there's something bigger. It's bigger out there. It's more to this.
So much more to do.
And yeah, exactly. And so that is something I really had to shift, because like when my parents, like, they're more so like credit cards are bad, save your money, but not even, I don't even know what a budget was. My sister had to teach me when I went to college, like pretty much being cheap on things. But
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
money don't grow on trees. Those things that, even though it's I'm not gonna say it's not true, because money is made out of paper. So I'm gonna tell my kids it grows on trees. Do what you want.
Okay.
So it's just the little things you don't really realize that you are programming into your kids' minds, and then you have to kind of like flip the script on that.
Yeah.
Later that in life, you get older, it's like, no, money, I can have all the money in the world
Yeah,
to be
there's so
greedy.
much.
Nothing bad about having. It's all energy comes to me, like, just kind of speaking those things over my life. And so really the part of just kind of affirming myself and
Mm,
shifting that type of mindset to more of an abundant
yeah.
mindset. And it's not all about money, but just kind of the lifestyle I want to live, what I want to do as a career. Like, I don't have to stick to the norm, or like what my parents or something did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I absolutely love that, because especially when you mention like poverty mindset is like so detrimental to just like our
Yeah.
community in general, to like shift that from having like a wealth mindset almost. Being an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, which is like the non-traditional um like career, what made you want to become an entrepreneur to kind of be a little bit more different, I guess, than what was taught in the community that you were growing up in?
Yeah. I don't have a specific thing of why, like, I always go back, like, since I was younger, before I even knew what the concept of praying or talking, like, I knew who God was, but just
Yeah.
the concept of talking to him and praying was like, I always wanted to make an impact in the world. I did not know how, I didn't know what that looked like, but, as I grew older, like, I always said, even since, like, high school, I just wanna own a business. I didn't know what I was gonna do. It just was just in me, like, I just need to be the boss or something.
Yeah.
Even though I'm really reserved, I'm not, like, the bossy type, but I know I can get things done, and especially, like, if it's something that I feel like, I don't like how you're doing it, I feel like I could do it better, Imma, go ahead and create it myself and, go for it myself. And so, yeah, it was just a matter of that and kind of figuring things out and, just with my first job coming out of college, I worked. It was minority owned, women owned. She was a Black woman. I loved it, and I think that really kind of sparked it up again. Where it was like, because at first it was like, I'm gonna own my nonprofit and make money through that, and I have it. But then other things start to come up where I became interested in, and it was like she became my mentor, and she just really opened my eyes to something different. Like she's like real like a bad chick. Like I want to do
Yeah.
that. And so I think just a combination of that and just know it was just always in my spirit, God knows before you do what, journey he's gonna have you on. And he
Mhm.
kind of showed me as I grew more into him and really listening to him for one,
This is
that, hey,
good.
this is pretty much the path that I need to take. And it's hard. Like entrepreneurship is definitely hard. I haven't made the milestones that I want to make yet, but it's like I'm not quitting. I know this is for me. Like I know, I
Yeah.
like I'm gonna give.
Now I know recently, because then wasn't it last year when you went full time as an entrepreneur?
Yes.
How's that been going so far?
Yeah, so that's been pretty good. Like I said, it's been hard. It was a roller coaster, just like of emotions, of people really gonna like pay for my services or my product. Like, are they
Yeah.
really interested in me? Am I even interesting enough? Because you see all these influencers and stuff on Instagram and everything, and it's like, I'm just a regular schmegular girl,
Oh.
I'm just regular. And I don't want to speak that on myself like I'm nowhere near like I'm above average, I want to speak highly of myself. But it's just like at that time I was like, I'm not that type of chick. I don't know what to say. It took me a minute to get used to doing the IG stories and like just talking like, hey girl, on the phone and stuff like that. And so it was a learning experience because I wasn't no longer in the office structure or
Yeah.
corporate structure. Like I really had to manage my time. Like I knew I wasn't the best at time management, but yeah, like I was like really all over the place when I left my job. And then just basically trying to like put systems in place because I'm a creative. Like I could put things together, but it was like the back end of things, like putting systems,
Yeah.
automation,
All the admin
marketing.
work.
Like that was the hard part that I had to learn and kind of, figure that part out. And so it was definitely a faith journey. I feel like entrepreneurship is definitely faith building. Like you don't have much to lean on because like once money run out, who
just
you gonna
just
lean
going with
on?
it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely been a journey. And also one thing I had to realize was that, not gonna look like everyone else's. I think I definitely in the beginning, and I still kind of do. That's why, like, I had to clean up my Instagram, like unfollow certain people, just because even though like I'm happy they're doing great, if
Yeah.
I feel like any kind of envy or jealousy coming up in myself, and just like let me just unfollow them for a while and clear my head because it's not them. It's just the fact that that's what I want. I've been working towards that.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't it happening? So just kind of like really going through the blockages that I have and trying to release that and trying to, switch up my mindset and really understand like my journey's not gonna be like everyone else's. Like it's okay if you're gonna end up have to like get a part-time job, go back to work. just keep hustling that. If you know it's for you, if you know God is calling you towards that, like, don't give up. Sometimes you just got to go through these hurdles to really get to a point where he's like ready to trust you and put you like, okay,
Yeah.
now you get it
Yeah.
going.
I love that you mentioned mindset. That was kind of leading to my next question. Before you made that transition, was there some type of mindset shift or like certain fears that you had to address before you could really like take that jump to start working for yourself?
Definitely. I think the main fear was like, was it going to work?
Oh,
That was the main thing. I was very frightened about. Like, what if it doesn't work? What if I have to go back to work and things like that? And I eventually had to go back to work, like, and being okay with that journey, because it's like, that's mine. And once I become a millionaire, that'll be the story I,
millionaire.
tell. So, I think that was just kind of taking that fear out of it. Like, even before I sent in like my 2 weeks notice, like I went on a fast. I was praying. I was like, because yeah, definitely the enemy child, like, no, it's not good.
Yeah.
Whispering in my ear, things like that. It's like, how do you know if you just don't try? And it's like, and if it doesn't work, and you realize like entrepreneurship is not for you, you can always go back to work, and get a
Absolutely.
9 to 5. And so I came to a point where it's just like, this is this is how I do things. As long as like God stays in the center and the forefront of it, I'm gonna be great. And so I think that was one thing, was just really preparing myself to faithful.
Hmm.
Let God steer the wheel. Of course, I messed up plenty of times with that, because I'd be like, move out the way, Jesus. You take
I
too
got
long.
it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure myself back from doing that. So,
Yeah.
pretty much what it was.
How did you learn to trust God through that process? Just being like, you know what, I'm a little scared, but I'm gonna let you have it.
Yes, I was point like I just had to do it. It was just some in my spirit that like, just whatever happens, like, you've done your fasting, you paid, consulted with other people, other entrepreneurs who took that leap of faith and left their job. And so I did a lot of that. And so, definitely trusting God is not easy. And I know He knows that,
Yeah.
us as humans, like, and I think that's the beautiful thing, is like, we're human, even though it's so cliche, so simple, but just understanding that concept of like, we're going to make mistakes.
Right.
We're going to, fall into certain traps, or believe, put our trust in people that we shouldn't, things are going to happen. But the fact that He stays consistent. God stays constant no matter what. Even if you feel like things are not fair, but once your cloudy judgment goes away, it's like, oh, God, you never left. You've been
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to remind myself of the times He's been there, and take that with me through the journey.
Absolutely. Well, what would the Victoria today tell the Victoria back then, whether it's the young Victoria or the one before she became a full-time entrepreneur, to kind of get her motivated?
Oh, child. Now, I love this. Hopefully I don't get emotional.
Okay.
Um,
It's a safe space.
I would say, because I did a lot of like, inner child work, like healing and stuff like that. And I would say not the recent Victoria, because the Victoria that from college or high school was a product of the girl, my 5-year-old self, is what
Yeah.
I would say. Just telling her like, you're gonna be something great one day.
Oh,
Like, you're special, like, you are not in the shadows, like, you're a leader, you're assertive, you could be direct, like, you can lead a nation if you wanted to. And and just follow your heart. Don't worry about what other people say and their opinions. Like, the labels they put on you is not of you. And just be yourself. You don't have to, like, be a part of a certain crowd to fit in. It's okay to like stand out and, not be afraid of that.
yeah.
And so that was something I would tell her, because I feel like I was just given that opportunity, just someone speaking that into my life. Like, I feel like a lot of stuff that I went through, like, I will avoid that because I'm like, boy, I don't care. Good day. I'll be by myself. I'm
Yeah.
fine. um, type stuff. And so, yeah, I actually have like a picture of like when I was younger in my room to where like, and when I remember, cause like I try to remind myself, talk to her every day,
Oh.
just like look at my picture and just be like, you're beautiful, I love you, picture, you know, just so that, that part of me could feel important and like
Yeah.
they matter. And so that was a lot just, growing up that, that's something I would tell myself back then.
Yes, I love it, especially the picture. I don't even try
Mhm.
that myself because I feel like inside we're all just little children just trying to
We
find our way throughout
are.
the world. It's like, will we
Yeah,
ever grow up? Who knows? But like, it's always something like in your heart and in your mind that's just that
exactly.
little child.
Yes. So that's what I do. I try like anytime I was like, oh, I didn't talk to you for a few days, girl. What's going on? And I just be talking a little bit like, yeah, we got another business idea, about to make this money,
All
just
right. What advice do you have for women who are just not feeling as confident, but they want to kind of thrive and they have so much inside of them that they want to give the world, but they're a little nervous about it?
I say sometimes you have to go for it. I feel like there's always going to be that root of fear when it comes to doing something new and out your comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's where courage comes in. Having the courage to fight through that fear and get to the other side because, you know, if you don't do that, you just wouldn't know what you could become or who you could meet that will
Yeah.
like put you in the door, and have, just have those divine interventions because you decided to like, put fear to the side and like just go for it. And at the end of the day, that's really like what you got to do. I mean, I don't think there's a special formula. I wish I had it. Because probably would have been like a little further along that I am now. But I'm like, yeah, it's courage, having the courage to push past your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, addressing those things, even
Hmm.
though it's like, yeah, I'm fearful of this, or I'm insecure about that, or this person. It's like, why? What's the root of that? Because I feel like along the way, you have to address those things because even if you push past it and you become successful, that's going to show up in your business. That's going to show up, in relationships if you don't deal with it. So definitely heal, have courage, and push through that stuff.
Yeah. Come on. Gotta heal, maybe a little therapy. What?
Yes, it's okay. Black girls can go to therapy.
Yes. Well, what can we expect from you moving forward for the rest of 2020?
So for the rest of 2020, look out for me just doing dope things. Living life. This year, I feel like this year is better than not. I guess since 2018 when I really started going through my spiritual journey, being more serious about our relationship with God and being more serious about understanding who I am. I feel like being in isolation lately has really opened up my eyes to a lot of different things and perspectives. I know some people they like to be outside and do things. Me, I'm a homebody, so I wasn't too much tripping on the quarantine thing. But I was definitely more intentional with my alone time and just really getting to know Victoria. So I feel like as the more I know her, the more I'm going to show up for myself, so for my business and my dreams, my family and friends. Definitely got some things in the works, some new things that I'm working on that, y'all eventually see towards the fall. I continue to have my copywriting business. I work with beauty creators, so like just helping them, launch their business, get them in front of the right people, and doing my mentoring with my girls. So yeah, just living life, but just more important, just being more self-aware of me, taking care of myself, and just being the vibrant person that I'm striving to be.
Yes. Gotta take care of yourself. And where can
Yeah.
we keep up with you and your businesses?
Yes. So It's a lot. I will say the main page is Victoria Empowers. That's my main personal page. And so I tend to upload things about my nonprofit, which is called the Rose Foundation. That's ROSE, like the flower. And also my business called the Copy Lounge. So that's my copywriting business. And so I always like posting things on there. So either one of those, but my main page is Victorian Power. So you can tend to see the different stuff that I'm doing from there. So yeah, follow me, guys.
Well, thank you so much. This was a great interview. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking to you, girl. I love it. Thanks for having me.
Of course.